Welcome to Sacrilegious Discourse.
I'm husband.
And I'm wife.
Together we're reading the Bible for the very first time.
We grew up without religion and wanted to know what all the fuss was about.
Well, what have we learned so far?
That God is a dick, and apparently some people believe in talking donkeys?
We're not trying to pass ourselves off as experts.
Nope, we're just reading the Bible for the first time and giving our first take reaction.
If you'd like to join us in this venture, you might consider starting at episode 1.
Otherwise, jump in wherever you like.
All right, let's go read the Bible.
Yeah, let's get to it. Husband!
Wife!
Do you remember what happened yesterday and how the hell we got here?
Well, we read Jeremiah chapter 9 yesterday.
We sure as fuck did.
And I believe Jeremiah was telling everybody not to trust everybody because we're in Fox News land and,
Fake news.
Only you can be the perfect God follower.
Mm-hmm.
Only you. But everybody else sucks and they deserve... Your neighbor died because they deserved it.
Right.
That's what... They were worshiping
Yes.
false idols. And they weren't walking the straight path. I don't care what they said. They were wrong. They were bad.
Bad.
Yeah.
They were evil
They
because
totally
there's
deserved that death.
only 2 degrees.
And if you don't continue to follow God, you will also die.
Mm-hmm. But
So,
honestly, you're going to die anyway.
yeah, that just happens to people.
And don't forget to circumcise your heart.
Yeah. That's another thing.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, that was Jeremiah chapter 9.
Sure as fuck was.
Which means that today we're getting into
Jeremiah chapter 10.
All right, let's do this.
Okie dokie. Okay, we are jumping into Jeremiah chapter 10, and just to put that note out there again, chapters 7 through 10 constitute an address delivered by Jeremiah at the gate of the temple in Jerusalem. He is standing in his sandwich board, ringing his bells, shouting
And screaming.
the end is nigh, the
Right.
end is fucking nigh.
Yeah.
So that's what's happening.
Okay. All right.
Hear the word which the Lord speaks to you, O house of Israel. Thus says the Lord, do not learn the way of the Gentiles. Do not be dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the Gentiles are dismayed at them. Okay, I got a note about that.
Okay. Yeah, I was just wondering what these signs are.
Well, okay. Through the use of astrology, ancient people often discern signs and warnings from the sky, seeing fearful things in the signs of heaven. However, the signs of the heavens referred to in this verse are not the sun, the moon, or the stars, or the signs of the zodiac, but unusual phenomenon like eclipses, comets, and meteors, which were supposed to portend extraordinary events.
So we're still barbaric and worshiping weather events, essentially. Not,
Right.
Astrological events.
Yeah. And
Okay.
The Gentiles are the pagans, basically.
Sure.
Are the ones out there afraid of those things. And Jeremiah saying, you don't need to worry about that. Don't worry about the skies like these folks are.
Okay. All
So
right.
he's telling them, stop being like them.
So, okay. All right. That's fair.
Okay.
I guess. Honestly, he's just stopping a step too far. He's not going far enough because we don't need to worry about any of this shit.
Right.
But,
Right.
whatever.
Exactly. It's like, ooh, you're so close, my
Yeah.
guy. For the customs of the peoples are futile. For one cuts a tree from the forest, the work of the hands of the workman with the axe. They decorate it with silver and gold. They fasten it with nails and hammers so that it will not topple. They are upright like a palm tree.
We're describing Christmas.
Yes.
This is fucking Christmas.
It's a
and
Christmas
he's bashing
tree.
the pagans for it.
Yes.
And it's fucking hilarious. I love this.
Okay, so I have
like
a
we're
note.
literally reading about goddamn Christmas here.
Yes.
This is awesome.
I know. And I have a note about this, okay?
Yeah.
So Jeremiah described the pagan custom of cutting a tree, setting it in a special place, decorating it, and worshiping it. The worship of the tree is indicated by the warning, do not be afraid of them, in the sense that one would give reverence to a pagan idol.
Okay.
So it's fine that we have a tree because we no longer give reverence to it as a pagan idol.
Oh, I see. We can do the ritual.
Yeah.
As long as we don't give any special meaning to that tree.
It's not an idol. We can do the acts as though it's an idol, but we don't treat it as an idol. So it's okay. Yeah.
I'm calling bullshit a little bit here.
Oh, no,
this
so
is
am I.
so this is so funny.
Yeah.
I bet this never gets read.
Ever.
In church. Ever.
So Jeremiah spoke of a tree regarded as an idol, and properly understood, the modern Christmas tree is not an idol. If for a family it is or becomes an idol, it should obviously be discarded. Okay.
Okay.
Jeremiah spoke.
This is apologists speaking, correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Jeremiah spoke to a time in history when trees were often directly connected with idolatry, either literally or representations of the trees.
How do Christians not see the hypocrisy here?
Oh, okay. I didn't write this note down, but I have another note about that.
Okay.
Literally, this apologist that I like to read, because some of his notes are cool.
Yeah, okay.
Like the one I just read was kind of interesting, right?
Sure.
It's an interesting take.
Yeah.
This particular apologist says that we are borrowing from other cultures is fine. It's when they take our stuff and do it that's bad.
What the fuck does that matter? What do we care whether they take it or not? Because
they are, when they do that, they are doing sacred acts inappropriately.
But how is it okay for us to take theirs and incorporate them into...
we're not doing sacred things with them.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's fine that we stole the Christmas tree from them, but we don't do the dance with it, the sex under the tree and the child sacrifice.
Yeah.
And the fact that like people today do the Saturnalia celebrations and they make altars and they bring nature inside and stuff and celebrate like the winter solstice instead of Christmas, because Christmas is fucking
stupid,
pagan and stupid. When people do that, they are giving reverence to these idols, and that is bad and wrong.
Right.
So
I shouldn't say Christmas is stupid. People, even atheists, celebrate Christmas as a giving holiday, as a family gathering holiday. It's not stupid. It's what's stupid to me about it is the religion
and the commercialism.
Well, yeah, and the fact that Christians cannot admit that they stole a fucking pagan holiday.
Yeah,
you fucking stole a pagan thing,
right?
And it's very prominent in your goddamn religion now.
And it is even in the Bible saying, "Don't do that tree thing."
No, and I'm literally laughing out loud about this is hilarious.
I think so too. Yeah, I was very excited to read that.
Yeah.
So the trees are upright, like I'm back to the Bible now.
Sure.
The trees are upright like a palm tree, and they cannot speak. They must be carried because they cannot go by themselves. So he's saying these trees are not gods.
Right.
They're just idols. You're worshiping a fucking inanimate object.
I think
like
even the people worshiping them were aware that it's an inanimate. It's a symbol.
Yeah.
It's a goddamn symbol.
Like a cross. It's a symbol. Yeah. Or like lighting a candle at mass in a Catholic church. It's a symbol.
Right. And to say otherwise is very disingenuous. You know, like you're attributing ideas to these people that you don't understand because you're not worshiping that way. You're not worshiping these, you don't understand their practices. You're assuming things about them.
But what's really funny is that a Catholic will like do their rosary beads.
Yeah.
Like how fucking pagan is that?
Right.
So fucking pagan.
Yeah.
But they're like, don't have all these things that are symbolic because that's trash. Don't do it.
And yet.
Except for ours.
Right, yeah.
Ours are okay.
We're okay.
Yeah. And I'm like, none of them are. Let's toss them all out,
Right.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Or say I recognize that I stole this, my religion stole this from pagan actors early on.
Yeah.
And what I'm doing has no more meaning than what they did when they were doing it. but it makes me feel better and I feel closer to whatever my belief is, blah, 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 and I find comfort in it.
Right. I think I would feel a lot better if I was talking to a religious person who could see the flaws inherent in their religion and admit them and still say, but hey, I do still believe, not for the Bible's sake, but for my own sake and for reasons of my own. You know, like that's something a little bit more spiritual, and I don't agree with it, but it makes me feel like they at least are, they understand that, yes, this was written by men. Mm-hmm. It is not, it doesn't hold weight because it's got some really dumb shit in it. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to believe regardless in my own way. Yeah. I can be okay with that, as, you know, like
if they were just honest about it.
Yeah, I think that's even the people teaching the Bible are not honest about it, because there's so much in here that most of their followers don't even know, because it would shock them. Yeah. Like, I mean, I'm just saying, like, this right here. Like,
literally, you should not have the Christmas tree. And I didn't know that it was specifically spelled out in the Bible.
Right? Like, silver and gold. I mean, like, holy fuck.
Don't decorate a goddamn tree. Don't do it.
It's a goddamn Christmas carol.
Right?
You know?
Yeah. Do not be afraid of them, for they cannot do evil, nor can they do any good. So he's like, they're nothing.
Right.
You know, because they're inanimate objects.
Sure.
Inasmuch as there is none like you, O Lord, you are great, and your name is great in might. Who would not fear you, O King of the nations?
Me.
Me also. Yeah.
Not afraid.
Not afraid. For this is your rightful due. For among all the wise men of the nations, and in all their kingdoms, there is none like you. But they are altogether dull-hearted and foolish. I'm going to call people dull-hearted. You're so dull-hearted and foolish.
Right, yeah.
Instead of calling them a fucking moron or a dum-dum.
Sure.
I'm going to say, you're so dull-hearted and foolish.
Right.
Yeah. A wooden idol is a worthless doctrine. Silver is beaten into plates. It is brought from Tarshish, and gold from Uphaz, the work of the craftsman and of the hands of the metalsmith. Blue and purple are their clothing. They are all the work of skillful men. Are they? Are your inanimate objects nothing but inanimate objects created by men? Interesting. Tell me more.
Right. You could say that, but they also, like, the Israelites built the ark, right? Mm-hmm. And the ark was supposedly the throne of God. Yeah. And so, like, that is not to the Israelites, that is not an inanimate object, right? That is a literal godly piece of work that God sat on. Mm-hmm.
And is still in.
Right. At some level, right? Yeah. Like, we've kind of moved on from the ark a little bit because it's gone.
Right. But if it wasn't, just imagine.
Right.
Yeah. They do totally 100% worship idols.
I mean, God literally dictated how to build the fucking thing.
Yeah.
You know, like, it was crazy.
Yeah. So it's really rich listening to you guys talk about how you don't think that worshiping idols is good when you literally do that yourselves.
Yeah.
And you have a whole rule book about it. But the Lord is the true God. He is the living God and the everlasting King. At his wrath, the earth will tremble.
Oh, man.
And the nations will not be able to endure his indignation. Oh, here we go. Okay. God's pissed again. Yeah. Thus you shall say to them, the gods that have not made the heavens and the earth shall perish from the earth and from under these heavens.
You know what? This pisses me off too. The fact that if something shitty were to happen in the world, right? Like, let's say World War III happens, right? Mm-hmm. God forbid. Sorry. Manner of speech. Apologize.
Right.
But let's just say something like the Christians would be like, well, God's just showing God's pissed.
Yeah.
This is God's doing.
Yeah.
And they would just accept it. Like, to some extent, you know, like, obviously we're going to be pissed and we're going to try to fight back whoever's throwing the bombs or whatever, but it's that lay down mentality where they're like, they just accept it because it was like, God's a pissy fucking, you know, pissant.
Yeah.
and he wants to kill people, and so they're like, yeah, that's what's going on.
That tracks.
Obviously, all the gay stuff that's going on. That's because this is why this is happening.
Yeah.
God's pissed.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't like it.
Yeah.
That's obviously what's going on.
Israel is supposed to belong to the Jews, and that's just the way it be. So fuck those Palestinians. Get them gone. Just eradicate them.
That's the mindset,
genocide.
though.
That's fine. God doesn't mind a genocide.
Right. And that's the mindset that I hate.
It's so
I cannot
dangerous.
stand it.
When we are literally talking about it's fine to do a genocide and you don't hear what you're saying, that's fucking problematic.
Yeah.
He has made the earth by his power. We're talking about how there's only one true God and all the others aren't real.
Even though he doesn't even know about North or South America.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. He has made the earth, parts of it, by his power. He has established the world by his wisdom. He doesn't know much, so he ain't that wise. And has stretched out the heavens at his discretion like a goddamn rubber band.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
When he utters his voice, there is a multitude of waters in the heavens. And he causes the vapors, I got the vapors, to ascend from the ends of the earth. He makes lightning for the rain. He makes lightning. It's not an electric phenomenon.
Rapping, he's turning into like a weather god now.
Yeah.
A bit.
Yeah. Yeah, we got some Zeus and stuff going on.
Yeah.
We got some Thor happening. He makes lightning for the rain. He brings the wind out of his treasuries. That's kind of poetic in a very old-fashioned, very non-modern Egyptian god caveman kind of thing.
Yeah.
Everyone is dull-hearted. Oh,
there it is again.
We like it again.
Yep.
Yeah. Without knowledge. Every metalsmith is put to shame by an image, for his molded image is falsehood, and there is no breath in them. Fake shit,
Mm-hmm.
They are futile, a work of errors. In the time of their punishment, they shall perish.
Oh,
fuck those artists, we gonna kill them. The portion of Jacob is not like them, for he is the maker of all things, and Israel is the tribe of his inheritance. The Lord of hosts is his name. Okay, hold on.
What is up with the Lord of hosts is this new way that they're referring to God?
Yeah.
The
host is supposed to be like the angels.
Got it.
And he's like the king of them.
Okay,
so
but this is just the time frame. This is like the new cool way to refer to God or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's this came about this was written during the Babylonian exile.
Right.
And thereabouts after. And so we're heading into late Judaism and almost Christianity. So we're bringing more angels in.
Got it.
Yeah.
It's just funny to me how the name of God has evolved through the many books that we've read.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I had a note about verse 11. Let me reread that because I don't remember, even though we literally just read it.
Okay.
Thus you shall say to them, the gods that have not made the heavens and the earth shall perish from the earth and from under these heavens. Okay. This is really interesting. Verse 11 is the only verse in the book of Jeremiah not written in Hebrew, but in Aramaic or Chaldean, the language which was commonly spoken in Babylon in 6th century BC.
Oh, okay.
How about that?
That's interesting, yeah.
Right? We just stuck this shit in
there.
That's
really weird.
Somebody jotted down a sentence. Here, don't forget to include this note.
Oh, okay.
A Post-it. Somebody put a sticky note on one of the scrolls and was like, don't forget to include this.
Right.
And it just kind of got glued down.
Okay. Yeah.
That's my take on it.
Right.
Okay. All right. Where was I? Everyone's dull-hearted, and the Lord of hosts is his name. Okay, here we go. So we're entering a new little section here, okay?
Sure.
Just a short little ditty.
Okay.
Gather up your wares from the land, O inhabitant of the fortress, for thus says the Lord, behold, I will throw out at this time the inhabitants of the land, and will distress them that they may find it so. Woe is me for my hurt. My wound is severe.
Wait, God's wound? Because
No, this is
Jeremiah.
Jeremiah's crying again.
Okay.
He's a weepy weeper.
Got it.
Yeah. But I say, truly, this is an infirmity, and I must bear it. My tent is plundered, and all my cords... Oh, now we're God again.
Oh, okay.
My tent is plundered, and all my cords are broken. My children have gone from me, and they are no more. There is no one to pitch my tent anymore. Or set up my curtains.
Yeah.
Is that what the kids are calling it now? For the shepherds have become dull-hearted. Okay.
Man, they really like dull-hearted here.
I don't like it anymore.
No, we're done with that.
3 times in one chapter.
It's off, man.
Yeah, no, that's bad writing.
Right.
And have not sought the Lord. The shepherds have become dull-hearted and have not sought the Lord. Therefore, they shall not prosper, those fuckers, and all their flocks shall be scattered, smothered, covered. Okay?
Yeah.
Behold, the noise of the report has come, and a great commotion out of the north country to make the cities of Judah desolate, a den of jackals. We really like that den of jackals.
Yeah, it's almost like we repeat half the shit from the previous chapter, almost every chapter.
It's almost like they had a word count that they had to aspire to, and so they just did a lot of copy pasting.
Yeah,
and
it feels that way.
It's not good.
No, that's part of my frustration with Jeremiah, I think, so far, is that it is very
repetitive. Yeah, it's definitely dull-hearted.
Because it's the same fucking shit every chapter.
Yeah.
And it just...
Yes, we get it. He's coming.
Right.
They coming.
They coming.
Everybody gonna die.
And you don't worship idols. We get it.
And God's pissed.
Yes. He's really
pissed. He's always
pissed.
pissed. Yeah. Oh, Lord, I know the way of man is not in himself. It is not in man who walks to direct his own steps. Oh, Lord, correct me, but with justice. Not in your anger, lest you bring me to nothing. Pour out your fury on the Gentiles who do not know you, and on the families who do not call on your name. Yeah, be mad at those fuckers over there.
Yeah.
Like, oh, spare me. Just
but it does
people that don't believe in you. Go kill them.
It does make me wonder. Like, that is something that bothers me. Like, he actually uses some of these people that don't believe in him as tools to kill the people that sort of believe in him.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so he's not punishing the people that literally don't believe in him at all.
Right.
And punishing the people that sort of believe in him but are kind of wishy-washy about it.
Right.
It feels completely wrong. Like,
that's because it is.
I would feel like you could solidify your spot as God if you showed the people that sort of wishy-washy believed in you that you were really powerful and could, take care of them.
Yeah.
And kill their enemies and not you.
Not that I'm eager for
No.
Israelites,
but given the times and how much war there was, it just feels like that would be a better way,
I mean, like, they were all killing each other. Do I really care which way it went?
Right.
No.
I just don't feel like the non-believers killing the sort of believers is the better way.
Right.
To teach people about God.
Right.
Like, that doesn't make sense to me.
But there had to be a reason for them to be put upon throughout history.
Oh, yeah,
and so they had to have this back them up.
Yeah.
Like,
retrofitting shit that happens, basically. You got to make sense of what has happened.
Yes.
If you're still going to believe in that fucking entity.
Right. Okay, last sentence here.
Okay. Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. Do not, you go get them families who do not call on your name. For they have eaten up Jacob, devoured him and consumed him, and made his dwelling place desolate. The end.
I see.
I kind of like that phrasing, though.
Yeah.
Like, they ate us up. They completely devoured us. Like, they took everything that was good from us. They killed us. They ravaged our land, raped our women, took everything. They are killing us.
Yeah.
They're eating us up. They're devouring us. That's really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, imagery, not
not the actual act of that happening. Right. Yeah. But I mean, it's what God promised too. Like, God said that this is what he was going to do. So.
Well, I mean, hypothetically, Jeremiah is seeing this in the future.
Right. Or he's seen it on the outskirts of wherever he is, because I think they were already kind of approaching and taking charge. They were destroying the outskirts of Jerusalem when this was, like, that's how it's feeling. Although we feel like this might have been written in the Babylonian exile, or at least parts of it might have been at least edited then.
Yeah.
Because there was that excerpt from the Babylonian,
right.
So like obviously some of this got kind of mixed around at different times.
Right.
And
it's hard to tell what he's reporting, like firsthand witness, versus what he's witnessing via vision to come.
Right.
And it kind of is weird.
So, I mean, these guys are prophets, right? And they're supposedly prophesizing shit. I don't really believe that. I believe that they're seeing things that are either happening in the moment and they're predicting that, yep, this is probably going to happen, which would probably make sense to anybody paying attention. Or they're writing this stuff after the fact and just retrofitting it back into the book and saying, yep, that happened.
Right. Let us create these great characters and heroize them.
Yeah, and I mean, there's no way to know that for sure, but that's how I feel about it. And
right.
I don't feel like they are actual prophets. Like
maybe bit of both. Sure. Take some of the witnesses and then make of the witnesses heroes.
Right.
Able to see the future.
And if there's one thing that's consistent in the Bible, is that the wording and the writing of it has been tampered with multiple times.
Yeah.
So
and that everything's a goddamn mess.
Right.
From Christmas trees
we can definitely count on that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So anyway, that was Jeremiah chapter 10.
Sure as fuck was.
Which means that today's Friday.
Yes.
And we'll be back tomorrow with
Q&A Saturday.
All right. And then on Sunday, we idealistically, we're going to try to do a couple of things, which would be
we're going to try, we owe for sure the Sacrilegious Book Club.
Right.
But we also owe a Patreon.
Right. So in a perfect world, we do both of them.
Yeah.
And as you guys know, if you follow us, religiously, we don't always hold up to that promise on the weekends.
No.
Something happens on the weekends and our brains shut down.
Sometimes we're lucky to get the one. 2 is almost guaranteed right out.
So I'm not going to guarantee shit, but I am going to say that we are going to endeavor to do our best at getting those things done. And then I'll get the weekly wrap up out, of course, and then we'll be back on Monday with
Jeremiah chapter 11.
All right, guys. We'll see you then.
Bye.
Hey, wife, I guess that's the end?
But husband, that's just sad.
It doesn't have to be. We are on lots of social media platforms like Twitter. Our handle there is sacrilegious_D.
For D's nuts.
Oh my God. Stop doing that. Anyway, we're also on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest. There's a link to all of our social media sites at our website.
Ooh, we have a website?
Yeah, it's sacrilegiousdiscourse.com, where you can also find a link to our merch shop.
We have a merch shop?
Yep. We have podcast-themed clothing, mugs, notebooks, and more, as well as an atheist and science-themed products.
Wow, our fans should really go check that out right now.
Definitely. They can get in touch with us by sending an email to sacrilegiousdiscourse@gmail.com. But before they do that, we could really use some help.
Oh yeah? With what?
Well, it's not free running the podcast, and we need some financial support in order to get better equipment, which will free up time so we can concentrate on our podcast and our fans.
Okay, so what should they do?
Head over to patreon.com/sacrilegious discourse and sign up as a contributor on our podcast. Supporters there receive additional bi-weekly episodes that we record just for our Patreon members for as little as $2 a month.
Also, we'd really appreciate it if you would like and subscribe on whatever platform you're using.
And Apple Podcast reviews help us out tremendously.
Like and subscribe. Leave an Apple review. Join us on Twitter. Support us on Patreon. That's a lot of instructions. Don't forget to say thanks.
Thanks.
Okay, bye.